Hey, book besties. Welcome to More Than a Book Club podcast. I'm your host, Leyna.
And I'm your other host, LJ.
And we are coming to you straight after a night where we were like, let's go meet up, go to Neighbor Books, our favorite neighborhood bookstore in McKinney, Texas. And we got a bookstore crawl. I don't have mine
Yes.
with me. Do you have yours?
Oh, please hold. No, I don't either.
And
I
like
took my
mine's
purse
way
in the
far
other
away.
room.
But if you follow Neighbor Books, if you're not following them yet on social media, they have a bookstore crawl and it's all over DFW. And you can go to all these independent bookstores and get little stamps on your passport. And then you turn it in at the end and you can get prizes. So I'm all about that. And then along the way, some of the different stops have discounts off books. If they have a bar in the bookstore, you can get a free drink. You can get a free coffee. There's all kinds of fun little grabs that you have. LJ and I stopped by Neighbor Books and picked that up from Joey. And then we also decided, let's go to Landon Winery and have a glass of wine.
And then something crazy happened. And what
which
was that, Leyna?
Turned into, who knew? I didn't know this, but Friday nights are music bingo nights at Landon Winery in the downtown McKinney Square. So we sat down with our wine and we're just chatting because it is LJ's first week back at school.
Woohoo!
She is opening her new school, not only teaching at a new district, but opening a whole new school. So this is exciting.
It is very exciting and exhausting.
Exhausting. So I was like, let me treat you to a glass of wine. And then
Or
we
a
ended
bottle.
up
We shared a bottle. It's very nice. We had decided, because we know ours, a bottle is 2 glasses, guys. So each, if you're sharing by yourself, it's more. But we were sharing. So it's going to be for several hours.
We did get a little bit extra because my favorite wine anyway at Landon Winery is a port called Chocolate Finale. And then the person who was bartending was like, have you ever tried it with the raspberry? And I was like, I've heard all about it, but I haven't tried it. And she's like, you have to try it. So it is a raspberry wine with the chocolate finale, and it tastes like chocolate covered raspberries. So good.
It was so good. So it's funny, we shared 1 glass of raspberry with our bottle of wine of the chocolate, but it was like perfect. Like, because we wouldn't have wanted
having
more
to
than that.
Pour a little bit into each
just
one.
A little bit. Because we're driving, like, we're adults, we're responsible. So don't worry, we were very responsible. And we were there for way longer than we anticipated because it was so much fun.
I had thought we were going to have like a glass of wine, maybe be home by like 6:37, but
yeah,
we ended up staying and we opened our table. So a group of ladies tried to find a place to sit and it was, full up, but we had 2 open seats. We're like, if you want to sit here, go for it. So they sat down with us. They pulled up another chair and then they got us a glass of wine.
It was very nice.
It was so sweet of them.
And then we decided to stay for musical bingo.
Which LJ was like, I don't even know if I want to play. This is not going to go well.
But I did.
But you played and you had fun and you knew more songs than you thought you did.
I did. I did know more songs than I thought I did.
So it turned out very good. And then by the end of the night, we were like, we're still awake.
We're wide awake. We were planning to record on Saturday morning because I have been too tired every single night this week. And Leyna has been so accommodating. Wednesday night, when we would normally record, was my daughter's birthday. So her 16th birthday. So happy birthday, Kaylee, since I've said her name 5 bajillion times on here.
Which you weren't going to at first, but now you have.
I wasn't going to, but it's too late. Her name is Kaylee. Happy birthday. And we were like, we should just go record now because we were so energized from the evening, which was so much fun. So here we are. I know this drops like at midnight on Monday.
And this is dropping so we're recording this on Friday, August 1st. at
Hmm.
9:50 p.m.,
Yes.
which is past my bedtime.
Me
Let me just
too.
say
Me
that.
too. I was asleep before 7 last night, maybe even before 6.
But I don't think this is coming out until August 11th. So
Ooh.
this is like a leap into the future because we decided to record this episode knowing that you were going to have students in your
Yes.
classroom
Yes. And
and
that I'd be tired.
you'd be exhausted and want some
Yes.
breaks.
So, yes. So we're recording 10 days in advance. Look at us.
We're ahead of the game.
We are. We are. So, should we start with literary lately, where I tell you that I don't think I've finished anything since the last time?
Well,
No,
okay,
no,
so
I
you
lied. I lied. I did finish one thing. Sheena Shea's book, My Good Side, or had I already finished it?
I don't think so.
I hadn't. I had like started it or something, or I was getting it or whatever. So that is an actress, or well, I guess she is an actress too, but she was on Vanderpump Rules, and then now she's on The
Okay.
Valley, and she was a little bit on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because she is most famous for having an affair with Eddie Cibrian while he was married to Brandy Glanville, who was later on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and then Eddie Cibrian is now married to Leanne Rimes. So
I'm sorry,
there you
but
go.
if you're famous for having an affair with someone,
Well,
like
okay, she wasn't trying to be famous for that, but I think based on her memoir, that was kind of utilized by higher ups because
Mhm.
she worked at a restaurant for Lisa Vanderpump, who was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and Lisa Vanderpump used that to launch this other show, Vanderpump Rules,
Okay.
which was canceled after a season after Scandival. And Lena probably doesn't know what that is, but other people might know.
I do,
I'm
because
so
I
proud of
think you
you.
told me. I don't know
I
my
probably
Bravo,
did.
but I think that you have told me about this.
I'm sure I have on multiple occasions. And so, but now they're about to reboot it with a whole new cast. But in the meantime, Sheena Shea, who is the author of this memoir, My Good Side, she is now kind of like in the background of a show called The Valley, which originally was supposed to be a spinoff for all the characters that had been on there forever that were now kind of aged out of Vanderpump Rules and no longer worked at the restaurants that Lisa Vanderpump and Ken Todd own. And so anyway, but I listened to her audiobook because I love listening to memoirs if the author reads it. And it was very interesting. And if you are a fan of Vanderpump Rules, I would recommend listening to it. And that's all I've done.
Well, I will say that our last literary lately, we had both read 10 books
We
because
had.
it had been a hot minute since we had done it, like maybe
Yes,
like 2 or 3 weeks. So
at least.
our July was hopping.
It really
We read
was.
a lot of books.
We did. We did. And I have started, I'm currently reading the Busybody Book Club, and you are right. It's
Yes.
absolutely delightful. And unfortunately, I have been so exhausted that I cannot read when I'm that sleepy because I can't even watch TV. I'm like, I put anything on and I'm like, good night.
I think that there is tired and there is teacher tired. Like back to school teacher tired, and
It's
you
true.
are in the thick of it.
I know I
So
just got to make it to September or something.
or
Anyway,
something.
or something. But have you been reading anything literary lately, Lena?
So I'm trying to think back to what I had read last, and I know
Hmm.
I read Catch and Kill by
Okay.
Ronan Farrow, which we're going to
Yes.
talk about
Oh, we're going to talk about
today
that today.
because we are doing true crime for LJ's birthday. So this is her birthday month, so she got to choose
Woo!
the episode, and she chose true crime.
I sure
So
did.
I read Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrow. Highly recommend if you want to be angry.
Oh God. So if you
If
want
you
to be
want to
mad,
if you want to be mad about I guess I don't know even what you call it, like the cover up
everything.
of horrible crimes. Read
Hmm.
that.
The Me
Because
Too movement.
I really thought that I had known about the whole, gosh, even what is his name?
Harry Weinstein?
Not Harry Weinstein.
Who?
Harvey Weinstein.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
I I
Harry
thought
Winston, Harvey Weinstein. Different people.
same
We
people,
love
right?
we love Harry Winston. We don't love Harry Weinstein.
But I thought that I knew information about that. But reading this book, I was just like appalled at how
Yeah.
much was covered up and by who, like how many people were in on it. So we'll we'll talk about that in a minute. And then I continued my Christmas in July and I
Yay.
read a Jenny Hill book, the Meet Me at Christmas,
Hmm.
which was a sweet book. But I all of her books have been very sweet. This one was
Yes.
no different. It was just heartwarming. Sometimes you just need the heartwarming, happy romance about Christmas, and this was definitely that. So if you are into that, I would highly recommend Jenny Hill. Um,
Yes.
I am still reading Dungeon Crawler Carl,
Oh yeah,
which
the one
I
we
had
saw
picked
that
up,
one at Neighbor Books. I'm like, so how's that going?
and I like it more than I thought it. Like when I started it, I was like, I don't know about this book. I don't know. It reminded me a lot of World of Warcraft, if you've ever played that, which my husband and I played together several years ago, and I enjoyed it, but I never started a party with anyone. So that's when you like join up in a group with people.
Yeah.
So it was harder to kill bosses. Um,
See, this is all, which I know
over your head.
Our friend Emily also played it. And see, I was
She
more
was
the
like, I
super,
was a mage.
and she was a gnome mage,
Yes, because she's
which
she's a
sounds
little
fun.
person. She's short.
Okay, she's not actually a little
Not
person, though.
actually a little person, but she's like
We got to clarify.
5 foot. How
No,
tall is she? Five
I
five?
don't know. I'm going to text her right now. We're going to find out.
If she's
We're going to find out
awake. I'm like, it
what
is it is bedtime, people.
she is awake. There's no way she's not awake. Her kids stay up later than I do. She's still awake.
My kids stay up later than I do. That's
Well,
okay.
mine do too, but she has younger kids and I
True.
swear they stay up
True.
later than I do. I'm gonna ask her, be like, Emily, how tall are you?
This is vital
She's gonna be like,
information.
what is wrong with you for texting me this at 10 o'clock on a Friday night?
Uh so
I just sent
funny.
in our group text, so Lena will
But
get the answer when I do
whenever
too.
I played World of Warcraft, I was always like the Leroy Jenkins, if you know who that is. If you've
You were
seen the
right.
memes,
She is
I was,
5 foot tall.
oh yeah.
You are exactly right.
I know my heights apparently, but
Apparently, you do. Do you know how tall I am?
5'5".
Oh my God, I am 5'5". How tall is Allie? How tall is Allie? I'm gonna
Ooh,
ask her. How tall are you, Allie? Let's see if you can do this.
taller than Emily, but shorter than you. I'm gonna say Allie is 5'4".
5'4". Okay, let's see.
We're gonna
We're
see.
gonna
I'm
find out. I'll
five
let you know if
seven.
she responds. Okay, so you're the tallest. So funny story. I actually have started shrinking, which apparently after 27, you can act like 27 is like when you are done, quote unquote, growing up. And then we start
You start growing down.
deteriorating
So
after
my
that.
mom was 5'9", and for the longest, like I always wanted to be taller than her. I was like, I want to be as
Mhm.
tall as my mom, and I never was. But now that she's 65, I'm taller than my mom.
Okay,
Now that
so
she's shrunk a little bit.
so my mom was 5'6", and I was 5'6", and I'm less than 5'6", and she's exactly 5'5". I think I'm a little over 5'5", but I'm not 5'6" anymore. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I know I'm in my 40s, but still, like, really?"
So I say I'm 5'7". I really think I'm 5'6".
Okay,
I
so you're shrinking too. It's
I
fine.
think I'm shrinking, and I think I was from the beginning 5'6 3/4".
And you
But I
just round it
claimed
up.
that extra quarter. It's important.
I mean,
It's
I think I'm
important.
5'5" and a half, so whatever.
I'll take whatever height I can get.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I'm reading Dungeon Crawler Carl. And then I also started reading a book today that I actually have it from Book of the Month from I don't even know how long ago. It is Take My Hand, and it's a historical fiction book. But
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm just going to break down and get it from the library and read it. So I got it on audio and I'm
Okay.
reading it. The audio is phenomenal.
What's it
So
about?
so far it is 1970s um, Montgomery, Alabama,
Okay.
and the female protagonist is African American,
Okay.
and she's working as a nurse at a
Yeah.
family planning clinic.
Oh.
And so far, I'm like, this is my book.
Okay. And wait, what's the title again?
Take My Hand.
Take My Hand. Okay.
I'm really enjoying it. And just the whole
Mhm.
concept of family planning post Roe
Roe
versus
v.
Wade.
Wade. Yeah.
Um, just kind of that what's happening, because she has two clients that she has to go do a home visit for, one of whom
Hmm.
she's giving birth control to is 11
Okay.
years old.
Oh,
And so they just met in the story. Like I'm very early into the story, but it has
hmm
definitely caught my attention and
hmm
I'm all in. Like this might be what I do this weekend is read this book.
read this book. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to hear about this and see if it's something that you recommend to me.
yes. So I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Okay.
So that's why I'm excited for it. Um, but thinking about 11-year-olds needing
I
birth
know.
control,
I know. I mean,
I'm
there
like,
are
oh no.
reasons.
Yes.
We know there are hormonal reasons that it can be a benefit, and I hope that that's what it's for
I hope.
because
I hope. And
I
so
hope so
it's one
too.
of those things where I'm just like crossing my fingers.
Hmm.
After spending a solid week of reading and watching true crime stuff, I wanted to hope for the best, but I don't. So
Yeah,
LJ wanted to have an episode on true crime because she
I
loves
sure
true
did.
crime.
I love like any chance I can turn this podcast into a true crime podcast, I'm gonna do it because I'm obsessed with true crime. Like, just to give you an example of how obsessed I am, there's a couple of things. First of all, if I watch true crime in the afternoon, it's gonna help me have the best nap of my life
Hell
every
no.
time. And so, like, just to give an example, yesterday I came home and I was so exhausted because I'd had a few nights of like being so excited and adrenaline and not sleeping well, and then having to get up early and everything that I finally crashed. So I came home and I was like, there's no way I'm going to make it to a reasonable time to go to sleep. So I put on 48 hours. This is true. Put on 48 hours at like 5:30 p.m. and I fell asleep definitely before 7 p.m. It might have been before 6 p.m. I woke up at some point and turned off the TV because I had not set a sleep timer. But yeah, I passed out. Like true crime, when I'm sleepy, will put me to sleep better than anything. And then otherwise, I'm just obsessed. I love to watch it. I love to listen to it. I love to read about it. I don't know what's wrong with me because I know Leyna is like the complete opposite. This has been like her worst nightmare, and she has taken one for the team for my birthday,
And
and
there
I'll be
has been
forever grateful.
some parts that I'm like, I enjoy this and I'm
Hmm.
learning stuff, but I was the Ted Bundy tapes. You had told me that that was a good one to watch on Netflix,
It's
so I was
so
watching it,
good.
and it's only like 4 episodes, so
Yeah, it's
it's
quick.
quick. They're like hour-long episodes, so it's not like super long, but not super
Mm-hmm.
short. So I felt like I was learning a lot about this,
Mm-hmm.
and the last episode and a half, I was sitting upstairs, I was watching it, and my husband was in his office working, and he was just kind of like listening, and he was like, "Are you okay out there?" And I'm like, "No, no, I'm not."
Because he knows you.
I
I
was
know.
like, "I'm not okay. This is not okay."
Okay,
Um,
well then let's talk about this one. I have a question for you
okay.
because what actually freaked me out about watching the Ted Bundy tapes is that I was like, I think I would have been fooled by him.
Oh, yeah. He was a total chameleon and would just like go with
Adapt.
whatever is in front of him,
Hmm.
but be totally crazy.
Right. Like I feel like there was something about when you see him on camera and you hear him talk. I was like, I kind of get the charm. But
Hmm.
then when you also got to see him defend himself, you could also, there were a few moments where you're like, oh, I see his crazy eyes. And
Yeah.
it's like, but I think I totally would have fallen for
And I think
everything he said.
this is the part about true crime that gets me. This, like this particular thing, it's people around you that seem normal doing
Hmm.
crazy stuff.
Right?
And how do you discern the difference between what is normal and
Hmm.
like, hey, that was a little bit weird. Oh, they must be a serial killer. Like, how do you
Right.
how do you differentiate between that? Because that is a leap.
So what's really funny, the reason I wanted Lena to watch the Ted Bundy tape, which is on Netflix if you haven't watched it, is because there was one time that I mentioned him and she's like, "Oh, what did you say? He was the Green River
The
Killer or
Green River
something?"
Killer. Because I was
And I
like,
was like,
I'm from Spokane, it's where
"Yeah,
I spent a lot of my years. And I was like, oh, the Green River Killer. That was the guy that was in Seattle and killed along the river. And she was like, no.
no." I was like, "No, Ted Bundy is just Ted Bundy," which he also did some murdering in Washington State,
Yes,
as
yes.
well as Utah and Florida, probably
Hmm.
other places too. Oh, I think even in Colorado, there was one from the hotel, I think, where their girl in the elevator. I think that was
Possibly.
Colorado.
Was that
I think it
Colorado? I know
was.
it was like Utah, maybe
Definitely Wash,
Nevada,
maybe, and
and
definitely Washington
in
State. Like,
Idaho. Yeah.
yeah, like there's all, and he, I mean, I don't think we know all of the women that he murdered. And I think what is particularly hard with him is like you hear this, but when you look at him, you just can't see this person
And he
as
was
being
like
doing that.
a nice looking guy. And that was
Mm-hmm.
the big part was he was a nice looking guy from a nice family, like grew up
Mm-hmm.
middle class, didn't have
Mm-hmm.
any like weird things in his past. Um,
Mm-hmm.
seemed like a normal person,
But he
but he
wasn't.
wasn't.
And
But
and
he
I think
wasn't.
what also is just terrifying is that he had a girlfriend with a
Yes.
child,
Yes.
and he had a type of the women that he murdered, and he
Hmm.
also dated women that looked like the same women that he was
Yes.
killing, and
Yes.
it's just like hard to fathom. And what I also find, because in addition to watching the Ted Bundy tapes, I have also read two books about him. I read The Stranger Beside Me, and oh my gosh, I need to look it up. The Stranger Beside Me is by Anne Rule, and she's a true crime writer who had, um, I think, volunteered at a crisis phone line with Ted Bundy before Ted Bundy was known as, this murderer.
Serial killer. Yeah.
Then all these murders were happening and he was still her friend, and she told him about how she had been contracted to write a book about this murderer. He knew that he was the
Which,
murderer.
knowing his personality, he probably loved that.
Oh, he's such a narcissist. There's no way he didn't. And they even talked once he was in prison, but I don't think he ever really gave her much information, like
Hmm.
along those lines, like kind of was more in denial. But I'm trying to look up, it was like The Prince of something. It had been published by his girlfriend. I'm on my Audible now. The Phantom Prince, that's what it's called.
Okay.
And it's by the woman that was his girlfriend for like the longest amount of time, who had the daughter. And on which I would recommend the audiobook for all of these, because I personally prefer true crime in audio form because it feels more like a podcast, and I love true crime podcasts, and I kind of realized how much I love true crime through podcasts, which shout out Crime Junkie, which I know Crime Junkie has had some controversy a few years ago. If you've been around for a while, I've been listening to Crime Junkie, I think since 2019, maybe 18. I should ask my cousin. It was whenever her fourth child was a baby.
I like how you like correlate the
Well,
times with
well, here's
everything.
why. Because Ashley Flowers, one of the hosts, was having a meet and greet in Austin. And I went down to Austin for spring break with my daughter to visit my cousin Leslie. And Alec was a baby. And we went to the meet and greet. And I have a photo of Ashley Flowers holding Alec. And it's just, we'll have to show him someday. I had a student introduced me to Crime Junkie because she was listening in class. And I'm like, what? She
Uh,
had her AirPods in. I'm like, no,
Not
you don't
anymore in
understand.
Texas.
Not anymore in Texas. They've gotten rid of that. But she was like, oh my gosh, I am listening to this podcast. And I'm like, you're like 16. And shout out Sarah in case you listen to this. And she introduced me to Crime Junkie and I was obsessed. But anyway, the point with that is the girl who was his girlfriend with the daughter, she does not read the audiobook,
Okay.
but I believe she reads the introduction or the foreword. So you at least get to hear a little bit from
Okay.
her while she wrote the book, but someone else read the book on the audiobook. And
Gotcha.
it's just fascinating to hear from these people. And even, it's weird to look at him. It just, because he really didn't ever come out and admit to doing anything. But if
I think
you don't
at the
know
end he kind
a
of
little bit,
alluded to it, but I mean, he escaped twice, not
I
once, but
know,
twice. Like
I
I'm
know,
like, why didn't you keep a closer eye on the guy that escaped? But he
right?
escaped twice,
Like he
and
charmed them. Well, in the
mhm,
first one was from the courthouse.
yes,
They thought he's no threat. I mean,
hmm
if you look at him, he was a pretty thin guy. He was in good shape, but he didn't look like someone you were going to have to worry about. And then they weren't paying attention to him because he was nice. He was, jovial with them. And then he jumps out the courthouse window. And
which
then
he trained to jump, like he
he
trained from
trained.
jumping from his
Mm-hmm.
top bunk to the floor
Right?
so that he could get his bones ready for it. Like,
Yes.
this is crazy. He is
It's so
crazy.
crazy. He is crazy. And then the second time was from his jail cell. And that's when he left and went on his rampage down in Florida,
hmm
which, if you don't already know,
Ugh.
a lot of horror films are based on that because he
Really?
literally went through yes, he literally went through a sorority house and murdered two, severely injured two more. Then he left there and went to another apartment and killed another woman. Like and all in one night, which
And then
is,
later on, he killed a 12-year-old, right?
I think that
It
was
was
right. That was
before.
in Florida, I think too, but it was like right
Because I was
before.
like, why did he kill a 12-year-old? Like, that didn't seem like his MO.
It really wasn't. And
But
that's what's interesting too, is not all of them were, essayed, thankfully. But it's still like, it's just crazy. But then he would bite them too. It's just weird
that's
things
part of
like
how
that.
they finally got him was
Yeah.
his bite marks.
Which now apparently they don't accept that
Mhm.
necessarily in court, which it's like, but that helped them. It matched his teeth. Like, I don't know. It's terrifying
And I
to
remember
see him.
watching Mindhunter, and I know you and I had talked about this show because you read the book. I
I
watched the
read the
TV
book.
show.
You watched the show.
Um, it's been several years, but it's talking about how they went through and started the FBI
Hmm. The
behavioral
profiling, right?
profiling.
Hmm.
Um, and it's the two top guys doing this, and they go and
Hmm.
interview all the serial killers to see if they can figure out, like, how do killers behave? How do they,
Hmm.
like, what common threads do they have is kind of what they were looking at. And I really thought that there was another person who had gone into sororities and killed several sorority girls. I can't remember who that was now. In the show, it's a big tall guy. But I don't remember what.
Okay, I'm trying. There is a case where someone went in and killed a bunch of nurses. Could it be that you're thinking about? I don't remember who it was. I can Google it, but there was one where this guy broke into this apartment and it was basically like all these nurses that worked at the same or nursing students all were living together and one survived and she had to hear like everyone else being murdered and somehow he did not find her like under the bed. Um, I don't know if that's what you're thinking about it.
No.
I don't know.
So when I'm Googling this about
Okay.
sororities and serial killers, Ted Bundy is the only one that comes up. But I
Okay.
swear there was someone else.
Richard Speck. Is this the guy? Yes. Okay. the one that I'm thinking of is this guy, Richard Speck, who killed 8 student nurses in their South Deering, Chicago residence. Um, and he also raped one. And then let's see, it does not say this particular thing is from Wikipedia, so it doesn't have the survivor, but there was a survivor. It's just crazy. But I do want to give a shout out because you brought up Mindhunter and the person from Mindhunter, which I think there was a character that played a small role, but the Mindhunter person that I read his book was John Douglas. And there also is a woman who was a big part of it. And I want to give her a shout out, Dr. Ann Burgess.
And I did find the guy that I was thinking of.
Okay, who was it?
It was Ed Kemper,
Oh,
and he
yes.
killed 7 women and 1 girl between May 1972 and April 1973. So
Okay.
less than a year, he killed 8 people.
Yes. I need to try to remember.
And he killed his paternal grandparents, apparently. This is what Wikipedia says, anyway.
Is this the one that then called the police and told them? Or is that a different guy?
So this says he was the co-ed killer.
Okay.
Most of his non-familial
Familial.
victims were female college students.
I know I think I've listened to stuff about him.
I don't know too much about him, but I thought that was who had killed sorority girls. But apparently
Okay.
they weren't
I mean,
sorority girls. They were co-eds. They were college girls. So we had Ed Kemper. We had
yes.
Ted Bundy. Both bad people, clearly. But I feel like that was the 70s, 80s. I remember hearing about Ted Bundy.
Yes.
And we would have been little kids at the time. But
When he was electrocuted, yes.
yes. So he did end up dying in the electrocution chair.
He did.
In the mid 80s, I believe, right? I think.
It was like
mid to late
maybe
80s.
late 80s. Late 80s. I think like around 88 maybe.
So that still is relatively new. And thinking
Yes.
about Mindhunter, like when they were developing this unit, they talked to him.
Right. Like, because they tried to talk to so many of them to try to figure out what's in the minds of serial killers. And I mean, because I did read the book Mindhunter by John Douglas, and it was so interesting to hear because a lot of them, like Ted Bundy, are like narcissists, and there's only so much they can get from them because they are always playing their own agenda. Like they're not going to just cooperate. But it was very enlightening. And I will say, what's interesting is they have developed all this from talking to them. They have been successful in figuring out actual things that then later, when a case happens, they're like, okay, the person's probably this. And like they usually hit it on the nail where they'll have like, here are the top 5 things about the person who murdered this person. And they're like, oh, it's correct. And that's just, it's amazing that they were able to do that by studying all of the serial killers. And for that reason, too, like one of the books that I read by John Douglas was where he reviewed historical cases that he wasn't necessarily brought on to solve, like even ones like Jack the Ripper and all this stuff. And I will trust John Douglas's opinion on like anything. And so in that book, he talked about the JonBenét Ramsey case, which people are so divided on. And he actually was brought in and met with the Ramseys, and he is convinced that none of them had anything to do with JonBenét's death.
That's
and
such a controversial topic, though. I mean, it's like who did kill her, if not someone in the family.
No, he firmly believes it. But so there's all these things that and you hear about this in other cases. They get really focused on the family or an adult, like a boyfriend or a spouse, that they don't look anywhere else and they miss out on opportunities because the reality is her dad was in a, relatively, like he wasn't like hiding behind his position. Like people knew who he was. They knew about him. It could have been anyone from his company, any like a disgruntled employee. And the fact of the matter is what people don't always know. And thankfully, in the last year, there's a Netflix docuseries with JonBenét's dad, which is with John Ramsey, which I think is really good for him to actually do that. But like what a lot of people, like what I didn't know is that there's DNA evidence of someone else, like of someone else's sperm. So like that means it wasn't her dad, it wasn't her brother. There is someone else that they have not been able to match. And just knowing that piece, then we should all be like, okay, clearly it wasn't them. Because
Yeah.
if they have DNA evidence of someone else, it's someone else. And I think a
Which,
lot of times we get caught up in the weeds of like, well, how are they grieving? Well, how are you doing this? We don't know what the heck we would do in that. I can tell you, let me tell you,
no, like if my
not the
child
same.
died, I don't even know what I would
I
do.
don't even know. Like, I don't have that experience, thankfully, and I'm very thankful for that. But like, just to give an example of like weird things we do in situations. In 2007, on April Fool's Day, we were T-boned and our car flipped. It was totaled. My stepdad broke his neck in the wreck. Thankfully, the rest of us were okay. All this stuff. I'm sitting there. The ambulance is there. We've gotten Gavin checked out. He's fine. He's a baby. He's not even one yet. And my first thought is I need to call my department chair and let her know that I'm not going to be at work tomorrow. And I'm not even kidding. I did. I'm sitting on a curb in the middle of a busy intersection. And that's what I thought to do because my brain was like, what can I do?
Mhm.
And that's what I did. And looking back to this day, that was like 18 years ago, a little over 18 years ago. And like now I'm like, gosh, that's kind of weird.
Mhm.
And I
But
remember
that's
because
what your brain went to.
she pointed out to me, I thought that was so weird. You were like, yeah, we're on the side of the road and you called me. And I'm like, well, I needed to do something. Like we had already gone through all these other things. Like we knew Gavin was okay. Dean was off to the hospital and when my mom was with him, Brady and I were okay. And so it's like, what did I need to do? Well, I need to let my work know I'm not going to be there tomorrow because I don't have a car. Like it's just weird how our brains work. And so
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we judge
Just
people.
in shock. Yeah.
Yeah, shock does weird things. Like to this day, I'm like,
Who
that's
knows
real.
why?
Who knows? Like that was like, I got to do that. And then now I can check that off my mental list. I don't know. So yeah, but what do you think about that? I want to know, who do you think killed JonBenét? Do you think it was her
Oh, I
brother or
don't
her
even
dad?
know. I
Okay, I
have
didn't know if you,
I haven't done a whole lot of research.
okay.
Mostly that is just like having read stuff as it comes
Hmm.
up. Um, I had always wondered if it was someone in the family. I know you had talked about just the family was exonerated basically
They
based
were.
on
They have been based on
yeah.
DNA evidence and everything. They have been exonerated by police,
Mhm.
but not by the public necessarily.
No, and I think that's also a hard thing. It's like, okay, you have a criminal case, but then you also have the court of public opinion and
Yes.
what that holds. And
Hmm.
one of the books that I read recently,
Oh, I can't wait to
gosh,
hear.
what was it called? It had like a longer name, so I want to get it right.
Hmm.
So one of the books I read recently was The Secret History of the Rape Kit, a true crime story by Pagan Kennedy,
Okay.
which is an interesting name, Pagan Kennedy.
Hmm.
Um, but it was talking about how the rape kit came to be in the first place because it
Hmm.
used to be someone would be raped and they wouldn't collect any evidence. And it was more of like a he said, she said.
Hmm.
But a lot of times the women were, from what it sounds like, kind of like, oh, were you wearing a certain thing? Were you walking alone at night? Were you like,
Drunk.
what did you do to
Hmm.
initiate this or to bring this
Hmm.
upon yourself?
Yep.
And it was very interesting hearing about that and then hearing how they started. It was one person really, Marty Goddard, and
Hmm.
she basically was like, I want this to be a thing, a rape kit where you can collect evidence
Hmm.
and I want it to be universal. And it started out in Chicago and she worked with different groups and she worked with police officers. And the police officer actually, his last name is on the trademark for the rape kit,
Oh,
even
well,
though
cool.
she was the one that came up
She
with
was the
it,
one that did it.
even though she was the one that championed it, his name is on it because at that
Of
time,
course.
having a man's name on it
Got
was
things done.
got things done. Having a police
Mm,
officer's name on it rather than a community activist got things done.
mm-hmm.
So it was very interesting to hear all about that, how it came to be, how they standardized it, and how they
Mm-hmm.
made it a universal, like across the United States. Here is a rape kit. But then also hearing about, it's so awful, the way that the rape kits were treated. And I think that everyone now has heard about the backlog of rape
Yes.
kits and about how, it takes years basically to work through these rape kits. But some of
Mm-hmm.
them, women would go through this horrible procedure. Like, not that it's horrible, but after you've
No,
been
but it's
traumatized
invasive.
already,
It's
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 invasive.
invasive.
You're you're going through another invasive procedure after already having been
Mm-hmm.
violated. And then for the police to take that box and just
Put on
basically
a shelf.
chuck it somewhere. And it wasn't even
Mm-hmm.
always in a shelf. Some of them were just like chucked in a bin, or,
Ugh.
and it's like, this is evidence that could convict someone.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
again, this is like the Mindhunter thing and the Ted Bundy story, where they were talking about there wasn't a universal across the United States database for all of these things. And the rape kit kind of helped create some of this, because they were like, okay, we have samples now. Let's test it
Mm-hmm.
against everybody else. And they were able to see who the
Mm-hmm.
serial rapists were and who were these people
Mm-hmm.
were, and find them out. Um, but it
Yeah.
was it was just staggering how much of that was kind of wasted. And
It's so sad.
you have to have a forensic nurse to be able to do some of this stuff,
Mm,
and they didn't have the staff, and the police budgets have gone more into, in the book they said this, the militarization of the police. So bigger vehicles, bigger, drones,
mm,
different things, rather than having the personnel to be able to test the things they already have the technology for,
mhm.
which kind of flabbergasted me. But at the same time, it's a crime against women.
It is.
And
And
historically, that has not been something that has been championed.
no, it's been like you said, what were you wearing?
Hmm.
Were you walking alone? Were you drunk? Like what did you do to
Hmm.
bring this on yourself? And also the sad thing is things happen to women and they get tested. And if there's not necessarily like a pressing court case, well, then it's not prioritized. And like you said, the backlog, and
It can take
we have a
years.
we
Yeah.
have a connection to someone that we know where it was like it was something that was not on the radar, and it was like just
Took
a
four
standard thing,
years. Yeah.
and it took, was it 4 years? Is that how
Hmm.
many years it's been? And then to find that out, and at this point, then the DA not wanting to do anything with it, even though there is a name, and it's just
Even if there's
it,
DNA evidence
there's
and a
DNA evidence
person who has been convicted of this previously,
before
like,
that they're like, well, it's not really worth our time because it would be hard to prove, even though you have the evidence. Like, it's just,
it's
if you don't
mind
know this,
blowing.
it's mind blowing. Like, that our system, like, you hear about our system being broken, and then I will say I know for Leyna, I like knowing someone who's dealing with this, the
It's
brokenness,
heartbreaking.
it's so heartbreaking, and it makes it so much more real. And so if you don't know of any, like, it's just, you just don't know until you know. And it's like the fact that 4 years later, something finally being tested, and then you get confirmation, and they're like, well, we're not going to do anything with that.
And that's just, it's awful. And there
It's
was even
awful.
in the
And
book,
that's
they
just
talked
one
about
person.
some of the law enforcement officers saying, women couldn't be believed. They were just vengeful. They wanted to get back at someone. And that's why they were, crying rape. And it's like, okay, this is, I took offense to all of it. And I
Yes.
was like,
Yes.
I am offended. Um,
It
but
is
it's,
hard to come forward with something.
and I will
And
say that
yeah.
I read that book the history of the rape kit almost simultaneously as reading Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrow.
Which I want to hear all about this one too.
And that was the Harvey Weinstein case. And basically, people had come to Ronan Farrow and said, hey, this has happened. I want to talk to you about it.
Mhm.
And people were coming to him and saying, Harvey Weinstein had sexually assaulted me or had raped me or
There are actresses that were blacklisted because
yes,
they were
they
what is the word?
refused to participate.
They refused to participate in things that he requested, and so he blacklisted them. And it's
The
just which
people
I we
were coming to Ronan Farrow and saying, this is what happened. And the book is about how basically people were trying to squash the story. And
Mhm.
even like he worked for NBC. NBC tried to squash the story. And it blew my mind because I had always thought of, certain producers and journalistic endeavors like NBC. You hear about Dateline, you hear about, nightly news. These are foundational news broadcastings.
Mhm.
And to hear that the producers behind that, the higher ups, the executives were trying to squash these stories where they knew it. They had evidence,
Yes.
but they also knew that Harvey Weinstein had power and they wanted that power for themselves. And so they
Mhm.
were covering up so that they could, I don't know if they could get away with things for themselves or
Yes.
if it was, if I do this, you do this. Like
No, I
it,
think it's both.
yeah, it was disgusting and it was very hard to listen to and not just be irate.
Right. No, I can only imagine. I mean, it even goes along with too with like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, which has been brought up a lot lately.
Recently, yeah.
And I would say if you're so sure you're innocent, then
Why not? And that's what so
release the
Catch
list.
and Catch and Kill did talk about both Trump
Hmm.
and his part in all of this and also
Hmm.
the Clintons in all of
Uh-huh.
this. And um it was interesting because
Interesting.
Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State at the time, I think it
Hmm.
was, and
Okay.
he initially was writing a book about secretaries of state.
Oh, and it
and
transitioned.
and she was 100%, I'll interview for this book,
Hmm.
everything's good. And then as soon as he started investigating this, which Harvey Weinstein was a large contributor to the Hillary Clinton campaign,
I did not
um,
know that.
she suddenly was like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to help you with this book. I think you should
Hmm.
stop this. So
Interesting.
they're just all complicit, all of them.
No,
whatever
like,
whatever side of the political spectrum you're on, they're
yeah.
all bad, in my opinion.
No, I think part of being in politics is that there is wheeling and dealing, and I don't
Hmm.
think I think there are some people that try to keep their hands cleaner than others, but
Yes.
I don't think the way it's set up, at least in our country, makes it possible to be successful in politics if you keep your hands completely clean.
Yes.
And I would say that what I've heard regarding the Jeffrey Epstein list is that the reason it won't ever be released is that there are too many world powers on that list. And like our whole world, so many governments would crumble because of it. And our world would just not know how to go on. And honestly, at this point, I believe that. I think that
I
that's
I
probably
believe
true.
it and I think that it's wrong and I think
It's
that it
so
should
wrong.
come out.
I
Like
know,
if people are
right.
bad, let them be bad and
Yeah.
let them be punished for it and it shouldn't be
Yeah.
something that's swept away. I think
No. It's
I've
kind of like the Diddy stuff, like all the videos
yes,
he has on everyone. I think what happened was before all of this technology was readily
existed.
available and accessible by all of us and usable by all of us, I think people did get away. Like people are like,
Hmm.
oh, the world is so much worse now. No, I don't think the
No,
world is so much worse. I think that we have more information about
it
how
was
bad it is.
easier
I
to
think
cover up
it was
previously.
easier to
Yeah.
cover up previously, and that's coming back to bite people in the butt. And it's like, well, then own up to where you are. And I don't think that that's going to happen, but it's, I think money has been something that people have been able to use
Mhm.
to cover things up and power and
All of it. Like it's just
all of it.
reading those two together though,
I can
it
only
was
imagine.
both informative
And infuriating.
and infuriating. Like just
Hmm.
both of them at the same time.
Yeah. See, and this is not like this is going to sound so wrong. I really am interested in true crime. That's the stuff that really frustrates me. That's more like that sounds so wrong. I should not be so interested in serial killers, but I am also fascinated. I think I would love to sit down with John Douglas and be like, please tell me what you have learned about this. Like,
Mhm.
I want to, I think
I
because
think
I don't,
it's interesting to hear about because it's like what makes that person tick.
yes, because I don't understand it.
Yes.
And I want to know, like, really, because people hear, oh, you like true crime. They're like, oh my gosh, you like gore. No, I don't want to know the details of what they did. Like, you can just be like, they murdered them. They SA'd them. That's all the detail. Okay, but what was going on? Like, I want to know, can we see what happened to lead them there? Not to excuse it, but like, what was going on?
Yeah.
And and I'm sorry, but a lot of them, nothing. They had parents that did the best they could. It could be our own children.
Yes.
And that's what's
And that's the
terrifying.
terrifying part. And that's
Yes.
why I don't like true crime because
Right.
I'm
Like,
like, this is insane. And how do you, like, Ted Bundy was so charming. How do you be around someone and not know that's what they're like? And so, one
I
that got
know.
me was I read the book American Predator,
Oh,
which is
yes. Oh, we
about.
haven't even talked about Israel Keys. I did that book too. I did the audiobook as well. Israel Keys. If you guys do not know who Israel Keys is, you need to get American Predator. It's like the subtitle is like the most prolific like serial killer that you've
Killer. Yeah.
never heard of. And it is true. He's
And
so
it
creepy.
creeped me out because so he lived in Colville, Washington, which is it's I knew it as the Indian reservation
Okay.
of Spokane, like that's where the reservation was. And it's like a from what I remember, a very poor area.
Okay.
And he grew up there as one of like 10 children or something.
Something like that.
And
Yeah.
they lived in like a cabin that didn't have enough rooms, so they like tent camped most of the year, like some of the kids, which that blows my mind because I'm like,
Yeah.
Spokane got a lot of snow. I imagine in Colville they got even more.
Hmm.
But just anyway, but he
And then he
was
ended up in Alaska.
yeah, he was in Spokane the same time I was in Spokane.
Oh my gosh, that's so creepy, Lena.
I'm like,
You might have met Israel Keys and you don't even know it.
and don't even know it. Isn't that weird? Like
That is so
wild to think
weird.
about.
Okay, so what our listeners need to know about Israel Keys is he is known for kill kits that he buried around the country to use when he traveled
And randomly killing people.
and randomly killing people. He did commit suicide in prison. He claimed to be willing to share stuff before that happened, but he was worried about his daughter finding out. And so then he ended up killing
Because he had a
himself.
daughter. And that's the thing that I'm like, these people are
Yeah.
masquerading as normal people.
No, and
Like,
I'm for real. A lot of people that are listening probably have never heard the name Israel Keys. He, I mean, he's like, there are people that I killed that you will never find and never know about unless I tell you. And then he killed himself, so we don't know. But there's some stuff that you can find out. He abducted and murdered a girl from a coffee cart
and
in
that's how he got
Alaska.
caught,
That's
basically.
how he got caught, basically, is that the story is so crazy. You can go see the surveillance footage of her turning off the light, like him showing up at the coffee cart, turn off the light, him coming in there, I think, and then getting her out.
He pulled her
And
out through the. So
yeah, and she
Spokane
ran
had
off.
like a million of these coffee huts. And so it's
Yeah.
basically like you drive through, but it's
Yeah.
literally like a little hut.
Yeah.
and
And
there's coffee.
she actually made a run for it. He got her. There also was a part where they went to somewhere else and he got out of the car and left her in the car and she didn't leave the car. Then she didn't have her debit card. So he went and broke into her boyfriend's truck and got the debit card and almost got caught. Then he's like doing ransom stuff and sends a photo to prove she's alive. Turns out she was dead, but he had like stapled her eyes
He
open,
sewed her
sewed
eyes
her
open.
eyes open.
Ugh,
He had
like
kept her
there's
in, she was kept in like a shed for a while
while
with
he
his
went on a cruise with his family,
right. And then eventually didn't he
just
put her under the ice, like ice fishing or something? But the
I
way
don't know.
he
It's
got caught
awful.
in Texas. Texas got him because he was doing this little thing and it was such a risk for them because he got pulled over on a traffic violation and there was a be on the lookout thing for him and they did not have reasonable cause to search his car and they decided to search anyway and they knew it was a risk because if there was nothing, even if it was him, there was nothing they could do. But thankfully her ID and I think debit card were in his car. But it's just like it's just insane. It's just terrifying, this person. And so if you never heard of him, you need to go look him up because he's
And
just
I
as scary as the
first
rest of them.
like got creeped out by true crime. I think it was like a movie was like Red Dragon.
Oh, isn't that the second Hannibal Lecter one?
Yes.
Okay, I never
And
saw that one.
but the guy seemed totally normal and then
Are
he
you
was just a weirdo.
talking about
Like
Anthony Hopkins?
no, I'm talking
There's
about
someone else.
was it
I don't
Edward
know because
Norton?
I never saw the second
Oh,
one. I just saw the first one, which if you have not ever seen oh
Silence
my
of the
gosh,
Lambs.
The Silence of the Lambs or read the book, I will tell you, I've seen the movie a million times. I finally read the book. That movie is hands down the best adaptation of a book I've
Mm,
ever watched, where it was
interesting.
like when I read the book, I was like, this is like scene by scene. There was hardly anything left out. So bravo. Good job. But yeah, no, I can understand that would be so creepy. And that was based on who was it? Was it Ed Gein who was like
I don't know.
I think that was who it was that was
It was
stealing
it
from
was just a
graves to
very
take the
like
skin?
ugh. I just
Yeah,
remember watching that movie and being like,
I
I
know.
don't like this. And then the true crime thing kind of came about, which I had watched Law and Order,
Uh-huh.
like ripped from the headlines,
Yeah.
Law and Order SVU, like Criminal Intent, all of the Law and Orders I loved. My husband and I,
Yeah.
like that was like our, you know,
That was your show.
go-to show. And then as soon as we had kids, I couldn't
Yeah.
watch it anymore. Like I could not. And then all of this true crime stuff started coming out, and I'm like, I can't watch this. And I
Yeah.
think it was just because some of it is just so random.
It
And you
is.
could be just out there living your life, and just someone decides, hey, I want to kill you.
Well, and let me tell you that most of the time that's not the case. It's usually someone you know. I don't know if that makes you feel better,
I
but
don't know if that's better or worse. Like
I don't know if
someone,
that's better or worse. So
yeah.
like it's like random killings are just not very common, but when they are, they're especially troublesome because it's usually characters like this that it's crimes of opportunity. Who can I get? Like one of Ted Bundy's victims literally walked out like the back door of one house, was going two houses down, and disappeared before she got to the second house. And so, I mean, that's the type of stuff that makes true crime scary. And if you want to know some good podcasts to listen to, you should listen to our dear friend who we're going to claim her as a bestie. Claire Sanama has hers.
So our bestie Claire
Claire, if you
has
don't know, you're our bestie.
Final Days is her podcast, and she wrote the book Killer Story,
Yes.
which it was a fun behind the scenes book.
The memoir. It's really more
She
of a
was
memoir.
a producer,
Mm-hmm.
and she produced
48
48
hours and
hours,
60 minutes.
and she has a lot of like behind the scenes information
Mm-hmm.
of what happens.
Yes.
But
And then she has
that
a podcast too.
that was the kind of true crime that I could get behind.
Well, because it was a memoir. But yeah, but
it
she
was
has
a
final.
it was a memoir, and the cases were already solved. Well, most of
That
them.
is
There
true.
were a few that weren't,
There are a few
but
that are
most of
not.
them were
Yeah,
solved. But
that's true.
I thought that, I like her podcast, I like her book.
Yeah,
I I could read them as someone who is scared of true crime.
that's reasonable. I will say, and so then from that, like I went and I've watched a lot of her 48 hours
Mhm.
episodes, and I did, now I don't remember which episode, but she is on the camera for one, and I was so
I remember
excited.
you talking about that, and you were like, "Yes,"
I'm like,
like
there's
you can
her.
see her.
Like I know her. I know her. I met her in person. Um, but yeah, I was really excited about that. And I mean, I get it, Lena. I get it. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm so fascinated with true crime. I have no idea. But I will tell you, if you want some true crime that might make you happier, if I from time to time these days am watching season one of Unsolved Mysteries on
Oh,
Peacock. And what the
my
good news
sister was
is,
terrified of that show.
oh,
Like
I
the
was
music
too
would
as a
come
kid.
on, and she would be
Yes.
like, eyes
I'd be like, we
tearing.
like, let's turn off the television. That was me as a kid too. But now what's really fun is like almost every single one has an update where it's been solved.
That is good news. That's
It is good. Now, not all of them.
heartwarming. True
Some of
crime.
them are updated like this has still never been solved. And it's like
Hmm.
that was 1988 and now we're in 2025. But a lot of them have been solved. And so it is kind of cool that they've retroactively gone back and updated that, because while the show was on, when they would have it solved, that would show up on an episode, and those
Mhm.
are still there too. But if it's one like you're watching episode two and you're like, oh, I wonder what happened. Oh, it's going to tell you that.
And so, okay, so reading the Rape Kit book,
Mhm,
reading some of this other stuff, watching this stuff,
mhm.
DNA evidence is still fairly new. I mean,
It
that's
is.
within our lifetime
Yes.
that
Like they
has,
were collecting it. What's so cool is that they were collecting it before our lifetime, because like someday they're going to be able to figure this out.
and they did. Like,
And they did.
but there's still people that are getting caught based on DNA evidence that was
Mhm.
collected years ago,
Yes.
and now they can connect it based off of
Mhm.
those samples. And that's why it's important for those rape kits to be
Mhm.
processed, and why it's important for women to be believed.
Yes. And why it's important for all of us to submit our DNA just in case our close relative is the serial killer and they can find them. I'm just saying. Now, here's the thing. What is funny, Lena had asked me because I had bought a DNA kit from ancestry.com. It's still in the package and like
You
that
got
way
to
in my
do it
house.
and find out if you're related to a serial
Okay.
killer.
So I was like so excited. I was like, there's going to be some family scandal or something. And then it turns out like one of my brothers has already done it and there was nothing interesting. And then one of my uncles on the other side of the family has done it and there's nothing interesting. And I'm like, so now I don't feel as motivated. But either way, I will tell you, if I
Well,
ever
you've
commit a
already you've
crime,
already paid for it at this
I know
point.
I need to do it.
Like,
I need
just
to
go
do it.
ahead
I
and do it.
will. I will. But here's what is interesting. So I have to be careful. If I commit a crime,
Mm.
like I have a very close relative whose DNA is on record because of a, a poor
A
decision,
felony.
a felony, yes, and some prison time. If you go to prison, they do take your DNA. And so, like, I can't commit a crime because they'll be like,
You'd be
it's
caught.
the daughter, it's the female child of this person. Well, guess what? I'm the only female child of this person. With my brothers, it could be one of them. So there's a 50-50 shot. But if they're
So
like, it's a female from
you
this
just can't
person,
commit any crimes,
I
LJ.
can't commit any crimes because my DNA, while it's not officially out there, like as
It's out
close as you
there.
can get, is out there.
Yep.
And one of my brothers is out there too. So I got a parent, I got a brother. They're out there. And I got an uncle. So basically, no, I cannot do anything. But yeah, it's just all of it. It is. It's so crazy that it's been like in the 2000s that they were able to
Mhm.
finally do stuff with that. And people have been exonerated, people have been caught. One of the craziest, okay, everyone should listen to this one episode of Crime Junkie. I think it's from like 2018 or 2017 called Dr. No. I'm going to tell a funny story about this because if you listen to the beginning, it's like you hear this, like, it's a reenactment. I didn't know it was a reenactment. I was doing stuff. I just put on an episode. The episode ended and went to the next one. And it's like dark. I have a lamp on. This is my old house. I had a lamp on, no other lights on downstairs. And it comes on, and I start hearing this and this voice, and it's like a trucker, like, this is Dr. No. And there's people going back and forth about how he's going to kill her or whatever. And I'm so freaked out. Well, it turns out that was a reenactment, but it was about this serial killer that went across state lines who was a trucker, and he got caught from DNA evidence like a few months later after this episode originally aired.
Oh, dang.
And it was like crazy. And like this guy, I don't remember what his real name is, but this Dr. No has haunted me. But he was killing prostitutes at truck stops, basically. And there's all this crazy stuff. And anyway, but when I met Ashley Flowers of Crime Junkie, I brought that up, and she's like, everyone brings that episode up because it started differently with this reenactment. And she's like, you want to hear something funny? It's my mom. My mom is the woman, and my brother plays Dr. No. Like, her mom was playing the prostitute on the
That's
radio
funny.
thing from trucking, and then the guy playing Dr. No was her brother. And she's like, so it makes it less scary knowing that. But I will never forget. And my ex-husband was sitting on the couch, and I'm like, oh my God, you have to listen. I was so freaked out. I played it back for him, and I was so freaked out. And I knew it was a reenactment. Like, they did not have a recording from the 80s
Of
of
that.
this that would sound this clear and
Yeah.
like perfect and all of that. But yeah, so I do recommend that one. But that's like an example of what there's been so many that have been caught, or because if you don't know this, if you throw it in the trash, you have given up your property rights to it. And it
Yes.
is a free for all, and they can test it and whatnot. Same thing if you leave your drink at a restaurant, your cup, they can do it there too.
So one that we haven't mentioned yet
Okay, I
that
know what
I
you're going to say,
wanted to
but go
talk
ahead.
about.
Yes.
Let's see if we're on the same page.
Is it the Amy Bradley one?
Amy Bradley is missing. And
Yeah.
we watched this on Netflix. So you had watched it already,
Yes.
and you had recommended it to me, and I was like, okay,
Yes.
I just watched on Netflix Trainwreck: The Poop Cruise.
Which I didn't watch that because
So I was like, let's watch some more Netflix cruise
yes.
craziness.
Yes. Yes.
And Amy Bradley and her family, so it was her mom, dad, and brother, and
Yes.
the Amy and her brother were both like, they're adults.
Yeah, they were like, I want to say
She had
he was
graduated
like,
college.
I
Yeah.
think she was 24 or 23, and I
Mhm.
want to say he was 18. He might have been a senior in high school.
Maybe, but
Maybe, yeah.
they were older, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, and they were all on this cruise. Her parents had won the cruise from their work,
Mhm.
and they went on the cruise, were having a great time, and they all had some drinks. The brother and their sister were out on the balcony talking, and
Well,
then
okay, so
the
they had
brother was
gone
like,
to
I'm
a
going
club.
in. Yeah, they
Well,
went
they
to a
had gone
club.
to dance. He leaves her. There's video of her there because from the
Mhm.
security stuff or whatever, from like the camera crew, whatever.
Yeah.
She goes back to the room. She and her brother have a conversation, like you said, on the balcony. Brother goes to bed, and then
She's missing. The
yeah,
dad wakes up at one point and sees her feet
on the
on the
chair
lounge chair
outside.
on the balcony,
Uh-huh.
and then he
Mm-hmm.
wakes up again and she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yep.
he goes and looks for her and then can't find
Mm-hmm.
her. And after like searching the boat, they still can't find her. So then he alerts the crew and
Mm-hmm.
all of this stuff happens. There's 4 episodes in this. So it's one of those like quick
Mm-hmm.
documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating because LJ and we'd met for our friend Emily's birthday lunch,
Birthday, yes.
and we're talking about this, and I'd only
Mm-hmm.
watched like 1.5 episodes, maybe
Mm-hmm.
2. And I was like, she's dead. She
Mm-hmm.
killed herself, like 100%. This is what happened. And LJ's like, no, it's not.
Well, and even before I watched this this docu-series, I had heard the Crime Junkie episode,
Mhm.
which they just recently re-released it because people were asking them about this, and they're like, dude, we had already watched
Yeah.
the 4-part thing. and we're going to reshare our episode
Hmm.
because and they were using it as like an advertising thing. Like
Right.
we cover like this episode on Netflix, or this series, we covered that 5 years ago. This one we covered 5 years. This one that's about to come out on HBO Max, we covered that 4 years ago. And it is true. Because they tend to try to focus on unknown things and then eventually the rest of the
They
world
become
catches
known.
up.
Yeah.
So I already, before even watching that, I was like, oh, I have a different opinion on what happened. So anyway, go ahead.
And as you're watching this show, more testimony comes through from people who claim they have seen her at
Uh-huh.
different calls of port um, after she has gone missing.
Uh-huh.
And then pictures show up of her, what appears to be her. I think it's
Uh-huh.
her. It looks like
I
her.
think it's her too.
But on, what do you call it? Escort services, prostitution
Um,
websites. I don't know.
yeah, because it's different because it's
She's in
clearly,
unflattering positions with very little clothing on,
yeah,
if
definitely
none.
like a part of sex trafficking. Like she's
Yes.
on a site, but I mean, it's not like she's choosing to participate in this.
From everything that they presented, it seems like she was sex trafficked, taken off of
Uh-huh.
the boat, possibly by someone that she had met on the cruise, by
Uh-huh.
one of the band members. We don't know for
Uh-huh.
sure,
No.
but possibly
Allegedly,
allegedly taken off.
don't want to get
Um,
sued.
and then it it seems like she was forced into prostitution after that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
From another witness, it seems like there might have been children involved at some point. Like
Uh-huh.
she might have had children, and then they were using that as leverage against her.
Uh-huh.
So at this point, I mean, this happened in early
The 90s.
2000s,
No,
90s.
90s. It was in
Yeah.
98, I think.
So this has been 25, 30 years. My question is, I mean, her parents are still looking for her. Her parents are in their
Yes.
70s. They were 40
Uh-huh.
something whenever this happened.
Uh-huh.
What has happened to her since then? What happens to a woman, even if she was sex trafficked?
Yeah.
What happens after she has outlived her
Use
usability? I mean,
in
that's
that
awful to
role,
say.
yeah.
Like, did they kill her?
No,
Did they just release her? Did they, like, what happens? What
I
happens?
think
I don't know.
I think it's one of two things. Either, I mean, honestly, at this point, I feel like she's dead.
Mhm.
I feel like she was sex trafficked and then at some point she was killed. The other thing is, I mean, as someone who, if we think this happened to her so long ago and she's been outside of the US, and if they threatened her enough, like, we will get your family, I don't know how, I mean, it could be very convincing. Whereas here, we know, like, okay, that's very unlikely because it is somewhat difficult to
Mhm.
get in the US. So, and you're talking about people that would not be American citizens, so it could be either or. I do know, like, they talk about, which, spoiler alert, they talk about that there has been evidence that's like on anniversaries and birthdays, there is
Yes.
someone from where she was last reported seen that seems to
Be
have some
Googling
activity.
and
Yeah, like
yeah.
looking at this. And so it's a possibility it could be her. It could be whoever did this to her. It could
Mhm.
be someone
Or
that followed
children.
the case. It could be her children. We don't know. And so they do believe that she is still alive. I would love for them to have a happy ending. I really would.
I mean, there's been stories of people who have gone missing and
Hmm.
decades later reappear.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that guy that kept all the, what's his name? Castro something?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He kept all the women in
Oh,
the
yes, that's
house,
right. Yes. Now, yes. And one of them
and
escaped.
one of them escaped, and then they got the other ones out, and one of
Hmm.
them had even had children.
Yeah. Well, and then even, oh my gosh, what a shame. I read her memoir that she had been kidnapped and had children. And then, like,
Oh,
is it
um,
JC Duggar?
yes, I was gonna say Duggar. Yeah,
Yeah. And that was horrible. I mean, it's just
it's
like the
horrific to
things
think
that
about
people
that
can,
they had to go through, that they
well, and
survived.
when you're cut off from all the full reality of what the world is and you're
Hmm.
only presented a certain view and you don't know any different, she could be in that situation too, where she thinks this is how it is when it's not. And
Yes.
like, I'm just trapped here and I will never get out.
And this is
So
why I hate true crime, because it makes me think about these things.
I know, I know. I mean, it is. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm fascinated about it, but apparently it's very common,
I
very,
mean, I think that it is interesting to think about. I think for me, it is scary to think about because
yeah,
I think that this could be reality for a lot of people. And that is what's
yeah.
terrifying to me. It's
No, I mean,
terrifying to me that
that's
people
fair.
live in fear and
Yeah,
that they have partners they can't trust, that like
yeah.
all of it is just, it's hard. It's hard to
Well,
imagine.
well, I mean, like early in my marriage, I guess my ex-husband took out life insurance and told me that he took it out on both
I'm
of
like,
us.
was he a serial killer?
Well, and I had been watching the show Snapped.
Oh
And so
gosh.
then I became convinced that he was going to murder me for life insurance. And so I was like, please promise me you'll like blackmail my family or something. Like they will pay. Like they will pay. Don't kill me. And he was just like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I just know from all these
Hey,
shows. He's like, you
hey,
need to stop watching
red
those.
flag. If you have to tell your husband not to kill you for the life
But I
insurance
mean,
money.
but for real, he was like, it's not a lot. It's like enough to like settle the
Cover your
debts and pay for a
expenses. Yeah.
funeral. Like it wasn't like it was like $1 million
Yeah.
policy. It was like to make sure that, your whole life wouldn't have to be disrupted by the death of your spouse. Like it actually was quite responsible. But I was just like, it just
How
convinced
dare
he's gonna
you?
murder me. And yeah, no. No, no.
That's what
But it's just funny
overactive
to look back.
imagination and true crime can do.
That is what it can do. But I still love it. So whatever. But yeah, for real. I could talk about true crime literally forever. There's so many things we haven't talked about. The Green River Killer, who Lena thought Ted Bundy was, which he's not. That's Gary Ridgway. So many other ones. The Hillside Strangler, Sons of Sam or Son of Sam. We don't know if there's
I,
more than
I think what
one.
this means is that we might have to have a second episode at some point
Like maybe a
about true
year from
crime.
now, Lena. We'll give
Maybe
you a
in a year from
year.
now when I've
She can
recovered.
recover. Yes. We'll plan on it. We'll plan because
Okay.
between now and then Netflix will have so many more documentaries and
Yes.
docuseries.
And I think that I could handle watching. Well, so I say that, but then the Ted Bundy was like, this is too much. And it was 4 episodes. So,
I know. Okay, how about this? I want you to there's one that I watched that is someone does get killed, but it's not like a serial killer. It's
okay.
like the craziest bank robbery ever.
Okay.
And
I
it's
could do
like
that.
you will watch it and you'll be like, what am I watching? Like I don't like
Don't know.
and have you ever seen McMillions? The
Uh-uh.
McDonald's one? Oh
No.
my gosh, Lena. These are like lower
So,
stakes,
okay,
but like
let's
they're
talk about
crazy.
let's next time let's do true crime that doesn't involve murder and rape. How about
Perfect.
that?
Let's do it. That's the
No
plan
essay, no.
no, because there are so many of those too where you're just
Hmm.
like, and they're very entertaining too. And then, no one dies or maybe one person and that's it. And it was an unfortunate thing, but that's not the point of the whole story. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I
Okay. That
think I
sounds
might
good.
be able to handle that.
All right. That sounds good. Maybe half birthday February.
There you go. What says love like true crime?
True crime. I mean, whatever. All right. Well, this has been fun. And I don't know how you're going to edit this down, Lena, because we're at like
This
almost
might
an
be our
hour and a
longest
half.
episode
This might be our longest episode because, secretly I've been trying to turn this into a true crime podcast
for the whole time.
for
You
the
just
whole
thought
time.
you were listening to a book podcast.
Yep. I've managed to get here. So here we are.
And we did talk about books.
We did.
So it's all related.
It is all related. And for real, if you want true crime books, look up John Douglas, look up Anne Rule. They are both great crime writers. So
There you go.
there you go. And Ronan Farrow.
Yes, and I will say Catch and Kill, I've had the book on my shelf for forever and I listened to the audio and I was shocked and amazed and still mad Like, I
Which
mean,
you're supposed to be, I think.
it's been, I think that came out in like 2016, 2017.
Something like that, yeah.
So, I mean, it's an older, not older book, but
But it's been
it's not
around.
current information. Like, I feel like
Like yeah, he was kind of an
he could redo it.
expose.
Yeah.
Right, like he kind of like drew attention to all this, which if you don't know who Ronan Farrow is, like he is Mia Farrow's son, and Mia Farrow was married to Woody Allen, who is now married to her adopted daughter, who he met and was stepfather to when she was a child.
And Woody Allen is Ronan Farrow's father, like biological father,
Is he his biological,
but
or is he?
possibly it could be old Blue Eyes himself. Because
Oh,
Mia
right.
Farrow was married to Frank Sinatra.
I mean, he looks like Frank Sinatra.
He
He's
does
got
look
to
like
be
Frank Sinatra,
allegedly.
allegedly.
I don't want to get sued. We don't have money. We're not making money on this, so please don't sue us. Just send us hate mail. It's fine.
We are going to go to the Texas Book Festival in November.
Woo!
We
And
are
R.L. Stein
excited.
is going to be there. R.L. Stein, like
R.L.
that's who I'm most
Stein,
excited about so far.
Allie Hazelwood.
Also cool, but R.L. Stein. R.L. Stein. I'm like, can I
That was
bring
like
my
who we grew
books?
up with.
Yes,
But we are going to go to that. So if anybody
we
wants
are.
to help support us in our endeavors to go to the Texas Book Festival, because it
Mm-hmm.
does require a hotel stay, it does
Yes, it
require
does.
us eating out. Like, I
It
mean,
does.
these are the challenges that we face. But we want
It's
to
true.
report back to you
Yes, we
all of
do.
our findings at the Texas Book Festival. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
interested in supporting us,
R.L. Stein.
you could donate to our Buy Me a Coffee, which I'll put in the show notes,
Woo!
and you could give us a
Help
few
support
bucks,
us.
$2, $3, $4, a
Whatever.
$100,
We will
whatever,
appreciate it.
whatever you're able to
$100.
give. Hey,
Help
dream
this
big.
poor teacher who's a single mom go to the Texas Book Festival so I don't have
And
to, hitchhike because that would be bad and be the start of a true crime
that would
story
be
in
the
Texas.
start of a true crime. Laura Jane Barber
100%. Yeah, I know, right? Oh my
hitchhiked her
gosh.
way to Texas Book Festival,
But yeah.
but didn't arrive.
Don't say this. I did just have to fill out my benefits package. And for the first time, I had the option to get like something to cover if you were accidentally dismembered
Oh,
or killed, like died, accidental death and dismemberment. And I sure did add that for $9 a month because either if
don't
I
get
get dismembered, I
accidentally
get
dead or dismembered.
if
My
I'm dismembered,
goodness.
I get almost $500,000. And if I die accidentally, my children get it.
Okay. Well, I hope that neither of those things happen.
Me too. I like my limbs and I like being in one piece. So
There you
yeah.
go.
And I
Let's
like
end the
being alive.
podcast on that note.
Yes. Anyway, it's been great, guys. And I guess we'll talk to you next week.
Join us next time. We have no idea what we're going to be talking about.
Nope.
We'll see when we get there. It's going to be after our
Probably
kids
not,
start school.
and
After
probably not true crime because I've tormented Leyna enough.
it will definitely not be true crime. I can guarantee you that.
There we go.
But we will see
All
you
right.
next time. Until then,
All right.
bye.
Bye. So, thank you for listening to More Than a Book Club podcast. We are recorded and produced in McKinney, Texas.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.